I love commercials, don't you? This is Chatterbox. We are taking your calls right now. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Hi, Laszlo. Is that your real name?
Huh? Of course it's my real name.
Are you Hungarian?
No, I'm from upstate.
When it comes to the Grand Theft Auto series, particularly in the 3D PS2 era, everyone has their own favourite entry. People will generally cite either San Andreas or Vice City as their personal favourites, and I can definitely agree that they are technically better games in a lot of regards, but I've always been super fond of Grand Theft Auto 3.
I guess that's a perspective thing.
It's the first one that I played, and to this day is the one I've spent the most time with, alongside Grand Theft Auto 4. Outside of the insanely cool Vice City Next Gen Edition mod that came out last year, GTA 3 is the only game that I've dabbled with mods for in the past, having done an entire playthrough a few years back with the first person mod, that was brought to my attention thanks to G-Man Lives. There is a number of GTA mods out there that I want to check out now, but for this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the recently released mod called Upstate Liberty, a map expansion that offers a vast new area to explore beyond the bounds of the original game. And as someone who played GTA 3 for hours as a kid wondering what lay beyond the tunnels and hills of Shoreside Vale, this mod was all the motivation I needed to reinstall the game and dive back into the world of Liberty City.
Take a seat, kid. Take a goddamn seat.
One of the things that's always been kind of interesting about the PS2 era iteration of Liberty City is that it's the only city in the series so far that's actually attached to the mainland, instead of just being a collection of islands in a massive ocean. Like, yeah, I understand from a technical perspective that it makes more sense for open world games like GTA 5 or Just Cause to be on islands, since you can fly planes and helicopters and don't need to worry about placing invisible boundary lines. But there is something that feels more realistic and kind of grounded about game worlds that have boundaries. Like in the Red Dead games, you can see vast stretches of countryside beyond where you can physically go, that makes the world feel more palpable and gives an added sense of intrigue as to what lies outside the sandbox. I can remember there being fan theories back when I was a teenager about where the blocked off tunnel in Shoreside Vale led to, with the popular one being that it led to Casa City, the location of the infamous game Manhunt. In fact, there's even a reference to that very fan theory in this mod, which is a nice detail. Then, when Liberty City Stories came out for the PSP, I rushed my way through the story as fast as I could to get back to Shoreside Vale, so I could see if they had offered up any kind of new area to explore, like being able to go up to the observatory, which apparently doesn't exist in the unpatched PC version. Only for Rockstar to fucking troll me with another blocked off tunnel inside the tunnel and a sign stating that the road led to somewhere called Upstate.
Okay, well, I just need a second to calm down.
So what this Upstate Liberty mod does is finally give us a brand new area to explore on the other side of this tunnel, and turns what was just an empty landmass into something that genuinely feels like it could have been an official expansion. It is interesting that the so-called definitive edition of GTA 3 kind of toyed with this idea too, with there being houses and buildings scattered across the hills. But because of how badly made this remaster was, it's hard to really get a clear look since the asset LODs are completely fucked, and this has never been fixed. So sometimes they look like buildings, and sometimes they look like rocks. And then sometimes this entire area will just disappear. Yep, I am so glad that Rockstar delisted the original games for this shit. Okay, so the LODs for the Upstate mod also look kind of weird, but this is running on an engine from 25 years ago, and it's also free, so... Now, in order to get this mod working, it will require you to have a version 1.0 copy of Grand Theft Auto 3, which the Steam version is not. There are probably mods to downpatch the game easily, but since I actually own a physical copy of GTA 3 for PC, I opted to use that for a clean install of the mod. This unfortunately did mean that my save files from the version 1.1 Steam version no longer worked, and because I was really not in the mood to replay 2/3 of the game to get back to Shoreside Vale, I had to improvise. The first thing I did was enter the Cars Can Fly cheat, which led to a number of embarrassing deaths as I tried to relearn the flying controls on PC. I won't claim to be an expert with GTA 3's flying controls, but I will say it's far easier with a controller. I eventually got sick of this and opted for the slower but more successful route of using the Portland Tunnel glitch, which I only learnt about recently thanks to another YouTuber called MattJ155. It's a long few minutes running through blue hell, but it's definitely worth it. the sheer scale of Upstate Liberty will quickly become apparent once you start exploring, since it's about the same size as the original Liberty City map, meaning that the game world has essentially doubled in size. It's nowhere near as big as San Andreas was, probably around half the size, but it's still impressive. In fact, the design of Upstate is fairly reminiscent of San Andreas in some places, with long stretches of highways and overpasses weaving through the hills, as well as a lot of forested areas that you can get lost in. A few of the smaller towns feel like they've been plucked out of the rural San Andreas areas too. One of the towns even has a street that looks like it's a deliberate nod to Grove Street.
Grove Street. Home. At least it was before I fucked everything up.
I quickly noticed during my first exploration of Upstate that an effort was made to add a lot more interior locations than seen in the main Liberty City. And what's cool is that a lot of them are actually references to businesses only mentioned in the game's radio stations, like the Happy Blimp restaurant.
Let them hunt each other down. It's the reality show where you just might be part of the action.
I was grabbing a sandwich at the Happy Blimp, and all of a sudden these guys crashed through the window and started shooting at each other. I was so excited, I didn't even notice I'd been hit. After that, I was hooked on Liberty City Survivor. I watch it every day in the hospital.
There's even another internet cafe you can visit, and just like the original had references to the first two GTA games on the monitors, this one has references to other popular games from the early 2000s. Obviously, there was a Doom reference, a few other screens had Counter-Strike, and one of them I thought was RuneScape at first, but I think it's actually Tibia.
Let me tell you about how I grew up, where I came from, what I did before I did YouTube. Well, I played Tibia. Best fucking game.
Now, if you're familiar at all with the history of GTA 3, you probably know that one of the first mods made for it were bridges that let you travel to a hidden area of the game dubbed as the Ghost Town, a small section of the city that was made exclusively for the opening cinematic, and was tucked behind the hills of Shoreside Vale, where players couldn't generally reach it unless they were very skilled at flying with the dodo plane. So, naturally, the Ghost Town has been restored in this mod and is actually integrated very naturally into a large city section called Ghostburg. Haha. I say this because I drove through it and almost didn't realize I was looking at the Ghost Town area, even though I was kind of subconsciously looking for it. I knew it was somewhere on the map, but I was expecting it to be on the western side of the map, closer to where it is in the original game. Instead, it's been moved over to the northeastern part of the map, amongst this new city area, so it's pretty likely a lot of players will miss it even being here if they aren't looking for it. The mod even had to move the intro cutscene because the game renders every cutscene in real time. So if you look closely, you can see the vans outside the bank swap from imposters into real vehicles because of the location change. Exploring the Ghost Town area in of itself isn't super exciting if you've already done it in the past with other mods, but it is still really cool to see it integrated back into the game world in a meaningful way.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
As I noted before that parts of Upstate feel reminiscent of San Andreas, there are also areas that reminded me of Grand Theft Auto 4 as well, which I guess makes sense since that game is also set in an updated rendition of Liberty City. There's a suburban area on the east side near Ghostburg that runs along the coastline that kind of felt similar to a suburban area in Alderney in GTA 4. The dense nature of the Ghostburg city hub also felt reminiscent of GTA 4 as well, with lots of alleyways to get lost exploring in. It's a bit of a shame really that there aren't any actual missions that take place here, because it's really well designed. There's also an abandoned mansion you can find too, just like the one tucked away in Alderney, that I feel a lot of people miss. However, instead of finding a cool car here, there is instead the car from the Dead Skunk in the Trunk mission with the corpse in the boot. And if you go around the back, you will find a torture dungeon, implying that this is likely the lair of a serial killer. This is possibly a reference to the fan theory that the character Donald Love was actually a cannibal.
First of all, let me thank you for dealing with that personal matter. People will read something into anything these days.
The only real gameplay addition that this mod adds is an additional 100 hidden packages to find scattered across the Upstate map. And a lot of these packages will require you to get creative and think outside the box in order to reach them. Some of them are easy enough to find, like there's a few hidden around the new construction site area, whilst others are hidden on rooftops with no obvious means of reaching them. Yep, cue more embarrassing attempts for me flying the dodo with the keyboard controls.
I just wanted to make your viewers aware that...
Okay, now, this is a radio show. We don't have viewers, we have listeners.
The TV event that will make history, Liberty City Survivor. This takes reality TV to a whole new level. We'll take 20 recently paroled guys, equip them with grenade launchers and flamethrowers.
Why so sad, Pee-wee? Who do you think you are? Short people are people, too.
All right, another award-winning show on Chatterbox. Today we're talking about anything, it seems.
And I was called and chosen to work a miracle.
So, where were you called from, Fernando?
From upstate, okay? To happy money now? I'm not real Latin, but I provide real Latin passion.
What's that in your hand?
I am not the problem. You are, and you're perpetuating the downfall of mankind. Liberty City was great before phones ruined everything.
Liberty City was a church, a cow pasture, a greenhouse.
But the locations of many of these packages also highlight the most impressive aspect of this mod's design, and that is the sense of verticality. The sheer scope of the mod is impressive, as I mentioned earlier, but there are so many locations in the mod that take you upwards and give you lots of really stunning vistas of the upstate area and of Liberty City as well. Making the trek all the way up to the observatory really puts into perspective just how massive the world is now. And unless you played with something like the Orbital City mod, you've probably never viewed Liberty City like this. Of course, it's pretty telling that you were never meant to be able to see the city from these vantage points, as some of the imposter assets for Portland look pretty broken from here. But that's likely something a simple draw distance extended mod would fix.
But they were only a decoy. Sorry about that, but that's sometimes the way in business.
Anyways, this is just a very quick look at what the Upstate Liberty City mod has to offer, and if you're a fan of Grand Theft Auto 3, you really need to check this out. It truly is a marvel of a passion project that genuinely feels like it could have been an official expansion area for the original game. Playing this mod has also sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole now too in regards to Grand Theft Auto mods, so expect to see more GTA mod content in the future. I'll leave a link in the description for where the mod can be found, and as always, stay safe out there everyone. Remember to keep your eyes on the road and off Misty, and I will see you all in the next video.